Good morning. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I'm not mic'd because Michael borrowed my microphone. He's on a work trip this week and they're testing equipment before they actually finalize the purchase and bring it to be installed. And today is day 3 of the trip and they're working on putting together a training video. So I don't have a mic. I have the camera as close to me as I can get it. The sound quality is probably not as good as normal, so I apologize for that. But I do want to go ahead and do both my meal plan with you and then also kind of give a little bit of an update on what is going on with the house. So meal plan first, I will have it on the screen here. I'm going to do a roasted red pepper pasta next week. I'm kind of getting a little burned out on soups. This week the shepherd's pie has honestly been really, really good and I'm still in the mood for comfort food. And it's not even the weather at this point because it's been summer-like this week. It's been 80 degrees the last 3 days until today when the storm front finally has come through. But pasta sounded really good. I love roasted red pepper soup, so this one sounded really delicious. The one kind of modification I'm going to make is I'll probably put together like a lentil bolognese whether I do like Italian sausage seasoning in it or something of that effect, to kind of add, because I want to make sure the meal is as complete as it can get. Obviously there's not going to be fruit in it, but I want to have a protein source in it beyond just the cashew cream, because that's not going to add very much. It's like a 1/4 cup of the cashew cream, I think, in the whole recipe. So that is the plan for next week. Of course, I will have the recipe if you want to try it linked below. I'll also have it on my blog along with this meal plan if you want to go and do the printable PDF version of it. I think I'd probably do like a spaghetti for my noodles. The picture in the recipe has penne. I mean, you can use whatever pasta you want. That is just my plan and what I intend to do next week. I'll probably double the recipe also because this sounds like something that Michael would really like, except for his part, I will actually get some Italian sausage and add for his. All right, that was Michael trying to get my Bluetooth mic to work, so he may interrupt again, we will see. But I wanted to go ahead and give you guys an update on the construction process as well, which honestly hasn't even started yet. Trusses are supposed to be delivered tomorrow, but at this point we are running into a weather situation because obviously storms are coming in today. It's raining right now. And after today, it'll be dry for a couple of days, basically over the weekend when nobody works. And then next week, it's going to be rainy for like another 3 days. So at this point, that is kind of our hang up because we need a good 3 or 4 dry days in order for them to be able to remove everything that's damaged and replace it. And, you know, it's not just a roof where they can do it in a day. It's literally the entire top of the house, all the way down to the walls. Even like the main support beam down the middle is going to have work done on it. It's going to need to be replaced because it is splintered above my bedroom door. And then on the other end, there were just... Basically, it's not up to modern day code, even though, shockingly enough, it seems to be sturdier than modern day built houses. But anyhow, so they have to do that. And then also the structural engineer, when she called yesterday, which I'm so grateful to have one woman in this process because it was nice to have a conversation with someone who we could actually speak to each other and there was no talking over me. There was no, I didn't have to interrupt her to get a word in edgewise. So that part was really nice. But she found kind of some damage around the front door, which means that's going to have to be reframed, and they really need to do that before they can put the top on, so that's going to add even more time, and right now time is not on our side because of the weather. So, and it's hard not to feel a little miffed because if the insurance company had overnighted, because he approved the amount on a Friday, if they had overnighted that, I would have had the check by no later than Monday. And I could have went ahead and gotten that all taken care of and we'd be an entire week ahead of schedule, and it was still dry all week last week. They could have gotten the work done and we would not be in the situation that we're in right now. So, you know, there's that. I'm trying not to dwell on that because there's absolutely nothing we can do about it, but it is definitely frustrating because now we are in a situation where we are up against the weather. Our dry season is over. We're starting to have rain, and it's looking like, of course, the forecast only goes out 10 days, but right now it's looking like we're going to get a couple of dry days followed by a couple of wet ones, and we really need 3, probably 4 days of dry weather. So send me lots of crossed fingers, good vibes, prayers, whatever you got, that we can have some dry weather to get this taken care of because, you know, right now we still have a situation where even though the roof is tarped, water is getting in. And I had asked our mitigation team to go ahead and do something extra to my bedroom because that is where the water is really coming in badly, which makes sense because that was the most damaged room. And what they did, I had asked them hang some plastic over my ceiling, put some containers underneath to catch water, and cover the window because the window is, first of all, it's busted, but it's also kind of hanging and there's gaps at the top. And so with storms coming in, and that is the direction, that corner of the house is the direction the storm fronts always come from. So with wind blowing, you know, just more rainwater can get blown into the house that way. And all they did was hang plastic on my ceiling. They didn't put anything under to catch drips. They didn't cover the window on the outside. So Logan and I went over yesterday and we hung plastic over the outside of the window, just that whole little section of the house to try to keep that part at bay. And then I took containers with me. And what they had done is they hung plastic, but it hangs kind of at an angle and slopes towards my closet, and then the whole side was just open. So they did really nothing to get rid of the possibility of water coming in. They just redirected where it was going to land. So instead of in the center of my room, it was going to land in my closet, basically. So I took a container and stuck it underneath of that to catch the water. And when I was over there this morning, it had caught quite a bit of water. But there were 2 other places I found that needed some containers. So I just ran down to the storage area, cleaned out a couple of containers and took them up. There's one spot in the living room where it needed to, like underneath my window, the plastic didn't quite go all the way to the side and there was a little bit of water dripping in there. And then kind of the same story in my bedroom in front of that window. The plastic, there's about a gap like this between the edge of the plastic and the wall, and a little bit of water was dripping off the plastic there. So I stuck containers under to catch that. So hopefully we've stopped quite a bit of the water, but either way, the subfloor has been wet once before. It's getting wet again, so it's definitely going to have to come out. My biggest concern is water going all the way through to the basement, which of course it has. And right now my house is not climate controlled. There's no way really to dry that water out. And so now I have kind of a concern about mold in the basement. And he did say, the guy that's kind of in the head of this mitigation company, I've been waiting weeks for them to get the temporary electric installed. And he did say that the guy that's doing that is supposed to be there today to finally get that set up, and then Ameren can connect to it. Then they can start running dehumidifiers and everything. So that's where we're at on that. My adjuster and that guy are kind of arguing right now over whether the mitigation team should even still be there. He feels like their part is done because they've removed all of the wet materials that were in the house. But the mitigation guy is saying we're not done until a roof is on because we can't guarantee, you know, basically we can't keep it from getting wet right now, so we're not finished. So I don't know. That's where we're at. And I'm kind of glad that those 2 are battling it out, because that has been a big source of my stress this week, is kind of being the go-between in that. So that's going to take a load off my shoulders, that those 2 can just talk whatever they need to out and come up to an agreement. So at any rate, it is Halloween now, so I am going to make some pumpkin muffins today. They're not going to be plant-based because they're for my son, and he doesn't like my fully plant-based ones. He likes the texture of the eggs in them. So it will be plant-based except for the eggs. So it'll be a little healthier than just the average recipe, I guess. But so that's what I'm going to do on my lunch break. And then this evening, my friend Jenny is doing her usual little Halloween get-together. So she just does like a fire pit in her driveway while she hands out candy. And it'll be dry by then. The storms will be out of here at lunchtime. So I will be over there this evening. And that is how I'm going to spend my Halloween. But for right now, I need to get into work and get my day started. So I'll catch up with you at lunch. surprisingly dry down here. I'm really happy to see that because they didn't bring fans down and run them in this part of the house. So it looks like Logan and Ricky came because right through here is where the furnace and air conditioner was sitting after they had disassembled it. So they got that out of here. So something that Logan noticed whenever they got the furnace out of the way, none of us had ever seen this before, and I don't know how. I don't think there was anything here hiding it, but maybe there was, and I'm just not remembering it. But this is from the door jamb in my bedroom. I guess when the tree landed on it, it forced it down into the subfloor and cracked through the subfloor there. So here is the first place where water was coming in, and so this is what I was talking about. It was dripping, and it looks like they actually nailed that against the wall too since then. But it was dripping from the plastic right there down onto the floor. And so I had stuck a bucket under it to catch that. And it looks like they have since come in and tore off part of the subfloor. So this top layer is, I don't even really know what you call that. It's kind of just a bunch of sawdust, really, like all pressed together. This is actual plywood, but this is like some sort of a pressed wood on top of it, and it was saturated, so they pulled that up. So let's go check out my room. This, as always, is the room that is the worst because it was the one that was the most damaged. So they had covered it the best they could, but this was what I was talking about earlier. I'll step back so you can see it a little better, but all the plastic just angled down right here. And they just left it open with nothing under it to catch water. So I had brought this in and stuck it under it to catch water, and it looks like it did fill up quite a bit. And then that one over there was catching the drip from underneath of the plastic that was in front of that window. And they have also since, they've moved the containers around a little bit because they have since come in and removed that same part of the subfloor earlier at some point today. So, but it looks like we did catch quite a bit of the water, so that is great news.